Stethoscopes could be making people sick, says new research. And we'll look at a study that says you can increase your bone density by doing this one thing just 1 minute a day. My special guest today is fitness superstar and founder of Kamate Fitness, Nancy Griffiths. I'm Bob Garvin. Welcome to Body Talk, episode 101. If you have any questions or comments about this podcast, send an email to lifestarmedia@gmail.com or visit us on Facebook at Body Talk Bob Garvin. Stethoscopes could be spreading disease. A new study shows that healthcare providers rarely clean stethoscopes between patients despite its importance for infection prevention. Researcher Lisa Green says that stethoscopes are used repeatedly throughout the day and become contaminated after every patient exposure, so they must be treated as potential vectors of disease transmission. Stethoscopes are capable of transmitting potentially deadly and resistant bacteria, including MRSA. Green says that failing to disinfect stethoscopes could constitute a serious patient safety issue similar to ignoring hand hygiene. She went on to say, "We anticipated low stethoscope hygiene rates, but we were surprised that no one cleaned stethoscopes between patient use." This eye-opening study was published in the American Journal of Infection Control. Now let's turn to my special guest, fitness superstar Nancy Griffiths, the founder of Kamate Fitness in Bedford, Massachusetts. Nancy is a personal trainer and holds certifications from the Aerobic and Fitness Association of America and the National Academy of Sports Medicine. Nancy, welcome to Body Talk.
Thank you for having me, Bob.
Now, I've known you for several years, and one thing I know about you is you're a real motivator. And a lot of folks know that they should be exercising, but they just can't find the motivation. How do you motivate so many people?
Well, movement for me is a passion. It's actually kind of personal for me. I had a sister with multiple sclerosis, and she died last August from complications from the multiple sclerosis. So when she was diagnosed over 10 years ago, I was always an athlete and a fitness enthusiast, but it became a hardcore passion. And at that point, with her illness, the desire to encourage other people to move grew stronger. I am a big believer in moving simply because you can. One of the ways I find best to motivate people is to make it fun. If it's not fun, they're not going to do it. Or they may be able to do it for short term, but they're not going to be able to sustain it. We make it fun by doing fun choreography to music. Music, I think, is a huge motivator. It helps pass the time. While you can still focus on your form, it drives you.
And when you have folks coming in to exercise for you for health, what do you recommend that they do? How many classes should they take a week or a day? What are your recommendations?
My recommendations are first to find the classes that are your favorite, to find the movement that you find joy in. And depending on any pre-existing conditions they may have that we need to work around, I like them to start off gradual. I know some fitness programs are very aggressive, but I find if we make people too sore or injure them, then they're down and out for longer. So we start gradual. So I suggest 2 to 3 classes a week. I like my people lifting weights at least twice a week and cardio twice a week, and then some light stretching once a week. I know that's an aggressive schedule for a lot of folks. Frankly, Bob, in this day and age, I will take any movement that I can get out of somebody. As long as I can keep them moving, I'm thrilled. And once they've got hooked in the passion, then they'll drive themselves, and I don't need to drive them. That's my goal. It's not to have to drive and motivate them. While I enjoy it and we love working out together, my goal is to let them be able to motivate themselves.
Now, I understand you're also going after children, and getting children to exercise. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, that is my new passion. Children are so pure, especially I teach children's dance as well as fitness. So we teach a program, actually a preschool program and a K1-2, where it's mostly just movement and music and having them connect to the music. Then as they get to grades 3, 4, 5, we teach them a little more choreography and a little more muscle integration, upper and lower body, trying to get the legs to do one thing and the arms to do another. And then grades 6, 7, 8, we get a little more aggressive with style and choreography and attitude and sort of theatrics. And then over grade 8, they come to me with the adult classes. So we start with dance because the little ones are wired to dance. They're born to dance. They come out dancing. And it's then when they get kind of engrossed in society and start feeling self-conscious that gets squashed out of them. So the goal is to get them connected to it early, build that passion, tell them that, it's freedom of expression. And frankly, the health benefits are almost ancillary, because just seeing them joyfully move, even as a vehicle for stress, and then the fitness stuff is basically an add-on. Then when they get to middle school and they start getting into competitive sports, see, not all the children are competitive, so I really try to keep my programs open. But when they start to get to competitive sports, we do drills, but even the drills have to be game-like and fun and to the music, and try to take out some of the competitive relay racing and make it more cohesive, a group movement with the children.
Interesting, because all my stuff, of course, when I was growing up, was competitive. They would pit us against each other.
And it turned me right off, which is why my programs are. So we may do relay races, but for example, one of the games I'll play with the children, I will line them up, but instead of trying to beat your line, at the end of the line I'll have a deck of playing cards. They'll flip a card over, and if there's a 10 there, they'll do 10 jumping jacks. And the row in the next aisle, they'll flip a card over, and if there's a 5 of hearts there, they'll do 5 push-ups and sit-ups. So it's not necessarily who wins the line, it's just more like we're all moving together in that relay format. But I take that competitive edge out, because that always turned me off as a child. Now there are some who love it. I'll do more customized training, like I did, the Benfica soccer team and the wrestling team. Those guys are aggressive and those guys want the competition. So I'll alter my content for them. But for the little ones, it's really just trying to get them to love moving at this point.
Now you obviously have to walk the walk here, and you're in great shape. So what motivates you?
Actually, it's my participants now. At this point, sort of the roles have reversed. Now what gets me there is being able to stand on that stage and look at them and see them progress.
Fitness industry's changed a lot. What do you think about some of the changes and where it's going now? Are you happy with what you're seeing?
Well, you and I think, are in agreement on knowing what you're capable of doing and challenging yourself. I get concerned with some of the aggressive, like there's a lot of Mud Runners and Spartans, and while that's such a rush and a high, I just worry about injury, as we have always have. I mean, yes, it's changed, but I feel like we're still fighting the same fight, which is that old paradigm of you have to put your body at risk or drive it harder than it wants to be driven for fitness gains, when in effect that holds you back. So I still think the same, yes, it has changed. I think it's just, there are different names now. The new programs that are out there is different names, but I think as fitness professionals we fight the same battle we always have, which is, yes, you can move and make progress without injuring yourself or without turning yourself off to it.
It's almost like I've heard them call themselves adrenaline junkies, and I think to a degree we all are, to a point where we like the high or the good feeling we get from working out. I look at it as if, like, I never wanted to jump out of an airplane, even though I had ample opportunity to do so, because I noticed the people that did, that's the only way they could really get excited. Yeah. The rest of life just wasn't excited. Nothing equaled jumping out of an airplane. And I wonder sometimes, if that's not what's going on, when you do this extreme stuff, if you bring that back, they're just not getting the same rush.
It could be, but I don't believe that's sustainable. I don't think it's realistic. I think you need to find joy in the simple movements. I actually enjoy the day after a workout and feeling my muscles, that I've worked them well, not to the point where they're sore and I'm hobbled, but to the point where I'm walking up the stairs and I can feel those hamstrings and those quads. To me, that's my rush. I don't think you can sustain that adrenaline junkie rush. I think if you can just find joy in the movement, not only will you be able to sustain it more, but I think you're going to have longer-term fitness gains.
If someone's just getting into working out, a lot of folks out there are ready to do it, they want to do it. What would you tell them about results, and what does it take to really be successful?
Sustaining it, and also not to be too hard on themselves and not to stress out before the workout. I think a lot of times folks think, oh, I got to work out and get in shape, and they're already climbing a mountain now. And not only are they climbing a mountain because the workout is the work, the idea is to take the work out of the workout. You should anticipate your workouts. You should look forward to your workouts. They should be fun. And again, that helps with the sustaining of the workouts, but also I think there is that phenomena of putting your body in fight or flight mode and seizing up your metabolism and your system. And if you do that before you go into workout, you're not going to work out optimally. I find a lot of people do that before a meal as well. When people start asking me about nutrition and they go to sit down to a meal and they're incredibly anxious about their food log or anxious about what they're eating, they've put their body in fight or flight mode, they've shut down their metabolism, and they're just not allowing their body to perform optimally. When you're in a state of joy, when you're in a state of relaxation, a state of alignment, your workouts are superior, your metabolism is superior, your body processes things brilliantly, and then you want to do it again.
Nancy, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Finally, it takes only 1 minute a day to increase your bone density, says surprising new research. The study shows that a single 1 minute bout of high-intensity, weight-bearing physical activity results in better bone health in women. These brief bursts of activity are equivalent to a run at a medium speed for premenopausal women and a slow-paced jog for postmenopausal women. Half of all women and 25% of all men over age 50 have weak bones that fracture or break, says the National Osteoporosis Foundation. Researchers say that women who got between 1 and 2 minutes of high-intensity, weight-bearing physical activity every day had stronger, thicker bones. The research was conducted at the University of Exeter in the UK and was published in the International Journal of Epidemiology. Well, that's it for this edition of Body Talk. My producer is Katie Stell. The Body Talk theme song was composed by Rob Carlson and sung by Vicky Vox. If you'd like to stay up with medical studies on a daily basis, follow me on Twitter at BGPVideo. And if you have any questions or comments about this program, feel free to send me an email at lifestarmedia@gmail.com. Body Talk is a production of Lifestar Media.